I'm Ebon.
And I'm William.
And welcome to another episode of the Thick and Thin Podcast.
Welcome back to another episode. I'm being forced to do this against my will to intro. It was definitely your turn.
I don't think so. I feel like I just did it.
I need a sleuth to go back and check the last episode because I'm not going to do it.
I will.
Because if I do it, it's going to look like I was trying to prove you wrong. But if someone else do it, I was like, look, you were wrong. You know?
I mean, my phone's right there. I can pull up the episode.
I'm not going to actively... Whatever. So doesn't matter. Welcome to another episode. Happy holiday. Can I say that?
Sure.
At least say happy holiday because you get days off. So
say happy day
good
off.
for that's happy for that. But yeah, just hope you had a good
long weekend.
Yep, and your dogs were safe. And no fires erupted in your area. Did you see the huge fireworks explosion again that happened this year? It was like in a building, and then like it somehow caught on fire and just boom.
Like here, or
I think it was in California somewhere.
Oh wow!
I don't know. There was a video of it. It looked like an atom bomb.
My mom forwarded me a link of some. I think they said it was an apartment building. Maybe I don't know that. Went up because somebody was done with fireworks.
Yeah, it's pretty wild. Yeah, I don't understand. I don't understand keeping them in one location.
What do you mean keeping them in one location?
Like in a warehouse. It's like because if something.
Oh, it was like a storage place.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Like
okay.
Because then it just creates an explosion. It's not just fireworks going off. It's straight up like I said, there's like a mushroom cloud.
Yeah, I bet.
It's fucking huge. And then, of course, all the surrounding structures catch on fire. Like, it's just pandemonium. I don't get it.
I don't either.
Like, I know, like, we break laws all the time. But there are some that it's like, that's really a nuisance to break that one. The fireworks one is really a nuisance. And I don't believe that the police are doing anything about it. So
not enough.
Don't put your signs up that say $1,000 fine if you're not like locating people to fine. Because I don't believe that they're actually doing that. Although we did see that Riverside is using drones.
Which is, I like that idea. Because, of course, if you know you're going in a squad car, they're going to stop before you pull up or, hide it or it wasn't us,
Yep.
So I like the drone could be like, it was y'all and we got a video. Boom, here's your fine.
Yep. I hope so. I hope they do. It's not going to stop people from doing it, though. That's the unfortunate thing.
I mean, I know we talk about this every 4th of July, but I don't get why fireworks. I don't get the fascination with fireworks and why people are willing to risk fine, fire, missing limbs for it. Like, it doesn't seem like the risk justifies the reward justifies the risk for me.
Yeah, we were just talking about this the other day where I was like, I actually enjoy a fireworks show, like a quick one, like after a baseball game on a Friday night and they do their little thing on the field. That's like 10, 15 minutes and then it's done. Like, boom, 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 grand finale, we're out of here.
Right.
But for like random people to be doing it, it's like I don't need that because I'm not expecting it, and so it's just like boom, and you're just like, fucking Christ, my whole house just shook.
Well, and at least with controlled fireworks, people that veterans have PTSD or pets or whatever, they're like, okay, it's going to occur at this window of time. I can medicate or go somewhere accordingly. When assholes in your neighborhood are shooting them off till like 1 a.m., it's like, well, how do you prepare for that?
Yeah.
Yep,
it's annoying.
It's very annoying. We in the middle of the night last night, that was wait, what date are we on? Today's the 6th, so this would have been 5th, 6th, and it woke us up in the middle of the night. And it's like, seriously?
I mean, well, what are you gonna do? Save them for next year? Come on.
I guess the mindset of, hey, I have fireworks. And let's shoot them off at 1:30 a.m. Like, what kind of douchebag are you?
Yeah, you're a pretty big douche. It's probably kids, if we're being completely honest.
Still, people are sleeping.
Yeah. Well,
what does this do for you? I know, but it's just like, if you're gonna do the annoying thing, at least do it in the daytime.
Yeah.
Or you know,
that's annoying
early
too,
night.
because it's like you can't see it.
Yeah, or
Why
early
would
night.
you?
Yeah. It's like, come on, 1 a.m. Come on.
I've always said that people that, if you can't wait till the 4th of July to set off your fireworks, you're probably a premature ejaculator too. Because you just can't wait. Like you just can't hold it in. Like you just, I gotta do it.
Wow, how many shots did you just fire out there?
No control. As many fireworks as were set off.
For real.
It's fine. They ruin my night's sleep. Then I'll come at your sexual
performance.
Yeah, whatever you want to. You're what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know. It doesn't matter.
Your ego.
Yeah, sure. I'll come for your sexual
prowess.
Negative.
Oh, in.
I want a D word. I don't know. Sexual.
Disability?
Disability. That's a good one. Oh, sexual disabilities? Oh, man. Micro dick. Does that count as a sexual disability?
Wow.
That seems like a disability.
Probably, but I don't think those that have one would be willing to go to the doctor and be like, can you declare this a disability so I have benefits of disabilities? No.
Can I get my medical marijuana card because I have a tiny dick?
I would imagine no dude is going to do that.
Do you think
they're going to go buy a big truck and hang nuts from the tow hitch? Yeah. That's what they're going to do. That's shots fired. No.
Do you think that, like, people that have micro dicks, like, if they're, like, played any sport at all, they have to go get a physical at some point? Do you think the doctor is like, we can do something about that? Or, like, you know what I mean? Like, do you think they're like, hey, I noticed that you have this condition. Like, do you want some pills? I don't know. Like, I don't know what they're... Do you want a pamphlet on penile reconstruction surgery?
Are we talking about adults? Or, like...
Well, I mean, you'd think, like, early on... I don't know. Like, if I was, like, 14 getting my sports thing, and the doctor was like, you got a like, this is a medical condition penis. Like,
I doubt they would say that.
You think so?
No.
That seems like a doctor's thing to do.
But there's nothing to fix it.
Are we sure?
I mean, I don't know.
If you can turn a vagina into a penis, I think you can turn a micro penis into a larger penis.
Yeah, but I'm pretty sure that's not something that your average regular HMO is going to treat.
That's true. It is cosmetic. That's a good point. Well, maybe in places like Beverly Hills, when they have kids and they're like, hey, I know a guy that can do this for you.
I would think if a doctor happens upon a minor, a teenager, they probably just be like, give it time, son. You could grow out of it or whatever. If it even comes up.
They probably don't even say anything. They just do the hernia thing and then they get out.
I just feel like that's my perception of men and how they are about their schwanzes. I would think they would just be treated like an elephant in the room. Like, I don't see anything wrong. Like, cough and be on your way or whatever.
Yeah. You got a nice dick, son. Get out of here.
I don't even think they would be complimentary. That's just weird.
No, obviously not.
I can't, I mean, not that women can or think that vaginas are nice, quote unquote. I can't imagine if I was in my woman doctor appointment or whatever and feet in stirrups or whatever, and the doctor's like, hey, you got a nice one. I'd be like, what?
That seems like a compliment. They see a lot of them. That's like, hey, I've seen a lot of vaginas, and yeah, you got a good looking one.
That would be so weird. What if it was a woman? I don't care.
Interesting.
You're already feeling incredibly exposed and vulnerable, and then for somebody to be like, hey, you got a nice thing. No, don't.
I don't know. I wonder.
I need you to act like you don't see it. I need you to act like I don't see you seeing it.
Yeah, I mean, that's the professional way to do it.
I don't even want to make eye contact during those exams. I'm laying on the thing like...
Yeah.
And then the doc, scooch closer to the edge.
I don't know. I feel like if I was in my physicals and I like dropped trow and the doctor pulled up and he was like, you got a nice dick. And then he goes and does a hernia thing. I'd be like, thank you. You know?
Really?
Thank you. I appreciate that.
No matter the gender of the doctor?
Man, that's crazy that I'm not getting laid, right? Fuck.
No matter the gender of the doctor?
I mean, it'd be better if it was a woman.
Okay, but what if it's a man?
He's seen a lot of dicks.
Weird.
You know, he can be like, you're in the 90th percentile of penises when it comes to your age range.
And what if he's making hard eye contact while saying this?
Hey, man, he's probably a pedophile. But that's not the point. The point is, he gave me a compliment on my dick. I did have a woman do my physical once, a woman doctor.
How was that?
Well, you'd think you'd be like, fuck yeah, dude. Like, no, it's just like the complete opposite.
Really?
Yeah. It's like, this is fucking embarrassing. But at the same time, it's like, well, she's just looking at dicks all day. Like, they have like the days that are like for physicals. And so it's just like, they're just looking at teenage penises all day long.
Jeez.
Yeah, weird.
I actually, though I've never had a woman doctor do that exam, ironically enough, I actually prefer a male doctor because I feel like a woman
is judgmental.
Not judgmental, but like, you know.
Ooh, girl, you stink.
A man, I mean, they always bring a nurse in, obviously, for propriety's sake, but they're always super gentle and they're going to explain each step. And
that's fair.
Yeah. But like, I feel like a woman.
Shut up, bitch.
Yeah, I feel like a woman, if she's had 4 kids, she's just going to be like, shut up, girl, I done had 4 kids, shut up. I don't know.
Take the speculum.
Yeah.
Crazy.
I don't know how we got there.
Whatever. Don't matter.
We went from fireworks to
micro penises to doctors complimenting our genitals.
Yeah.
Somebody out there has to do it. There's got to be one doctor that's like their MO, where like the person goes in and they're like they after they leave, they're like, you know, that doctor told me I have a nice pussy. Isn't that weird?
Also, another tangent. Trying to treat urology for men, gynecology for women, like any other specialty that someone chooses. What makes a person choose that specialty? And I know gynecology, that usually includes like delivering babies. It's not just digging in your cooch, and similarly with urology. But I always want to, not having known one to personally to ask, it's like, what makes you choose that? I
bet you they make a lot of money. Because I bet you.
I mean, all specialties make money.
Yeah, but there's probably some specialties that people are less likely to go into.
I guess.
Like, I feel like most like doctors want to be like a surgeon, or like, you know, maybe they didn't like score high enough, like they weren't in the high enough like to get into like the I don't know how that works.
Yeah.
Like they couldn't become a surgeon for whatever reason, or like I don't know. Maybe they just like genitals, like penises.
And also, I wonder what level of desensitization does that cause in your personal life or your sex life?
Yeah, that's probably rough.
Yeah.
Yeah, because imagine being like a gynecologist as a dude, and then like going home, and it's just like,
and you're just like, another JJ.
Your girl's like, hey, can we hook up? I'm like, I've been looking at vaginas all day long. I do not want to see another one. Like,
I don't know.
Yeah, that would probably, they're probably like really into butts and boobs, as far as like what gets them.
Okay.
Like aroused.
Because that's something they don't have to look at.
Exactly. Well, they're not seeing as much of it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, no. It's.
I don't know. Maybe they just scored high in that area of like their school. I don't know. Like they just like, man, I really understand like the urinary tract of a man very well. I don't know why and I don't know how, but
I don't know.
It just clicks for me. That's
I mean,
possible.
when you think about like other specialties like cardiology and pulmonology, you know, that's internal organs. There's no ick or gooey factor, you know, when you're interfacing with the patient. Or orthopedic, whatever, you know.
That's why
it's
I
like,
feel like a gynecologist or a urologist. I feel like they probably make more money than them because of that. On average, that would be my guess.
Yeah.
And so it's like, I want to make an extra $70,000 and $75,000 a year. I can look at dicks all day long. You know what I mean? Like whatever the case is, or I can, you know. But I wonder, like, I don't know what else they deal with, because like if someone has like an STD or something, is that a part of that sect, or like is that their gig?
I mean, I don't know about the male doctor, but for females, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I would imagine so.
Yeah.
It kind of has to be. Or I don't know. Or you just go to like your doctor and they're like, take some antibiotics, dude. And like just, or we can chop it off. I don't know.
I don't know how bad a disease has to be for chopping off a man's penis to be the
You
solution.
try everything else before that.
I mean, I feel like I feel like that's only the solution for frostbite. At that, honestly,
You're right. That's what I was just gonna say. It's like, dude, your dick is dead.
Yeah.
Like, it's black. You're not.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
like a toe.
Also, I feel like by and large, men's reproductive medicine is way more sensitive and about preserving a man's dignity and his stuff functionality than the women equivalent.
Right.
I mean, you hear about like for breast cancer, the first thing, chop them off. Like they're just like, we don't care about your bodies. Like, just chop it off. Whereas like with a man for testicular or penile cancer, they don't do that.
I mean, dudes lose nuts. That's Lance Armstrong.
Nuts, not dicks.
Right, but I don't think that's a common place to get cancer.
True. But
also, breast cancer is like fatal if you don't.
Well, so any cancer can be fatal if you don't catch it soon enough. But,
but some more so than others.
Right.
Breast is like right next to your heart. Right. Is that probably part of the issue? Is that it's like right there?
Can travel to your lymph nodes quickly.
And then,
but it's like if you have like a family history, well, once it hits your lymph nodes, it can spread elsewhere in your body pretty quickly.
Oh.
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
But like, say if you have like a family history, I think Angelina Jolie is a celebrity that had like there's a certain gene that I guess if you possess, you're X amount of times more likely to get breast cancer. So people that have that like preemptively.
Oh, she didn't have cancer? I thought she had breast cancer.
Either she had it or she presented with that gene. But like so many generations in her family of women have.
So she was just like, I'm not going to take the chance.
Yeah. And I feel like that doesn't happen with men. Like, again, medicine by and large is so focused on preserving a man's dignity way more than with women.
Right, and in that sense, you probably don't hear about the men losing their nuts.
Again, the dignity of it,
Right. Yeah, but it definitely happens.
I mean, I'm sure
not
it does.
as much, but it's again like I don't think testicular cancer is as dangerous as breast cancer.
I mean,
if you just let it go, for sure. But I think breast cancer is just more aggressive, right? I mean, I don't know, but. I
mean, I think there are statistically speaking that there are more incidences of it. Because, there's more women, so there's also that. So, yeah. But anyway, random tangent.
Yeah. All right, let's do a topic.
Okay.
So, where'd it go? Here we go. So this is something you brought into
the docket. Mm-hmm. Also random. I'm looking at the author of this article's last name, Christoffel.
Okie dokie.
So the headline reads, FaceTime in iOS 26 will freeze your call if someone starts undressing. So obviously this headline, I was like, wait, what? Because I was like, how would it know this? But anyway, so this new FaceTime safety feature for child accounts, which I have a question about, I'll come back to, in iOS 26 seems to apply to adults too. When Apple unveiled iOS 26 last month, it mentioned a variety of new family tools coming for child accounts.
Is that a thing that already exists? Child accounts?
Oh, see, and that's where my question was. I was like, I didn't know you could designate an account as being a child account, but okay. One of those announcements involved a change coming to FaceTime to block nudity. Communication safety expands to intervene when nudity is detected in FaceTime video calls and to blur out nudity in shared albums in photos. Okay. However, at least in the iOS 26 beta, it seems that a similar feature may be in place for all users, adults included. As discovered by iDevice Help on X, FaceTime in iOS 26 freezes your call's video and audio when it detects nudity.
And audio? Mm-hmm. That's interesting.
The app will then show the following warning message, which I cannot read.
I see it.
It says, audio and video are paused because you may be showing something sensitive. If you feel uncomfortable, you should end the call. Interesting.
This is like what's on Instagram and stuff when there's like sensitive posts.
Yeah. That's somebody's comment. I'm good. Okay. Oh, it is unclear whether this is intended behavior or just a bug in the beta that's applying the feature to adults when it should only apply to child accounts.
Most likely.
While the feature may raise privacy concerns for some, here's how Apple's existing communication safety features work. Communication safety uses on-device machine learning to analyze photo and video attachments and determine if a photo or video appears to contain nudity. Because the photos and videos are analyzed on your child's device, Apple doesn't receive an indication that nudity was detected and doesn't get access to the photos or videos as a result. See, that part's kind of weird to me because it's like, okay,
it's like the program is run locally is what they're saying.
Yeah, but I don't know, that feels very invasive. Not to say that I'm, showing skin or whatever, but it's like it feels like, I mean, which I get that, yes, children need to be protected, but it's like,
yeah, so obviously too stupid to fucking make their own decisions,
or parents aren't parenting enough to kind of shield them or warn them. But whatever. What it seems like, we're gonna insert an AI nanny to be all up in your pictures, and that seems a little smarmy to me. And also, what do they consider too much skin? Like, how does that algorithm work?
Right.
Like, is this too much skin?
Probably.
Like showing arms.
Tramp.
Like, is it on the prudish side? Is it on the what?
Do I get to? Is there a slider that I can adjust how much nudity I'm allowed?
Does it allow for a dude to be shirtless but not a woman? Like, how does it distinguish?
It's very interesting. Yeah. Does it vary from female to male? Like, can girls look at naked girls and guys can look at naked guys? But then there's like, what if you're gay? Mm-hmm. Then that's like, I don't know. That is interesting. Yeah. But and surely you can turn this off, right? Like,
I don't know.
I would imagine so. Just like with every.
Well, I mean, it sounds like it's built into the child account thing, but
so I imagine as a parent you control it.
Yeah, but
that's my.
Have you ever seen? Excuse me. Like, I'm just thinking about all the years of setting up Apple or iPhones. I've never seen a place to designate something as a child account.
Ooh, I'm trying to think now.
I mean, I know with like watches, like a few years ago, they allowed a parent to add a watch for their child to their account so their child doesn't have to have an iPhone or something weird like that. But I don't remember.
Apple has long offered child accounts through family sharing.
Oh, okay.
Apparently.
Guess I just blocked it out because it didn't apply.
It just doesn't apply to us. Man, I'm a little torn on this, to be honest with you. Because on one hand, I'm like, nah, people should be able to, like, make their own choices. And, like, if I want to see tits, I should be able to see some tits without hitting a button, But at the same time, parents aren't parenting and kids are way overexposed to stuff. And they are like sharing like nude photos, and it's like that's illegal.
Yeah, and, that's child pornography.
So
technically.
So if it cuts down on that, like, great, that's great. But yeah, it is a little
creepy,
intrusive,
and especially where they're like, because it's something in there said that it also monitors shared photo albums or something. Yeah. It's like, ooh, that's getting a little deep.
I mean. And it's also like that, like, forbidden fruit kind of thing of like.
It's like now knowing that they were going to block it, I feel like that could maybe, I don't know.
Kids
get
will
more creative.
They will find a workaround. They always do. Like when we were in school and we were like at the computer lab, like we knew the websites to go to get around the proxy. You know what I mean? Like there's always a way. We will find it.
I feel like
and there's no different here. I mean, does it also like I don't know what the child stuff is. Does it like stop like you from going like porn sites? I would imagine.
I would assume so.
But like on Google, can I just look up boobs and like, you know what I mean? Like,
I don't know.
That's what I did.
I feel like this feature is going to affect teenagers a lot.
Yeah.
And
people that like to have phone sex.
That.
You fucking freaks.
Exactly.
But again, it should be something that like I can turn off and on. You know who's gonna love this? Is just like prudes, just like Christian people.
What do you mean? Oh,
they're
to have the ability to restrict it. You mean?
Yeah. They love this shit.
So yeah, I thought that was very interesting.
I would be so upset if I was if I was like a person that met someone like online and we started talking and they're like, let's FaceTime. We started FaceTiming and then it was just like, let's get sexy, you know? And then like as soon as they like pulled up their top freeze, I'd be like, I've been waiting for months for this. That would drive me crazy.
I'm sure.
Oh my god, I have to hit the button and then they're putting it down already. I'm like, no, I didn't. You have to do it again. I didn't see. They're like, no, I already showed you. You're like, no. I'm telling you. Look, it's a thing. Look, let me show you my dick, and then it doesn't work for them. It's just.
Oh my god.
Well, you got a micro penis. You should talk to your doctor about that. Yeah. Anyway, that's really weird. And when someone starts, so it has to detect nudity first, though. So you get a glimpse, and then it just goes away. It's not like if someone starts lifting up their shirt.
No, it has to. But it's like, to me, maybe I'm overthinking. It's like, how do you detect nudity? Like, you know, like when you were a kid and you'd be like, hey, got a butt.
Sure,
like if you put this on the camera, is it going to be like butt cheeks freeze? Like, I don't know.
Right.
Like how sensitive, how accurate is it?
That's a good question. Probably overly sensitive.
What if you just have like
a freckle that looks like a nipple?
I was going to say, what if you got a scar or a couple of birthmarks that you're showing somebody and it's got two perfectly spaced moles? It's gonna be like, nipples freeze. Like, I don't know. You know what I mean? Like how sensitive is it?
Yeah, it's possible. We'll have to try it out when we get the
You can try it out.
Well, I need someone to help me with it. Am I gonna call my dad and be like, hey, will you see if you can see my dick?
I would test it out with the arm booty.
But you need a baseline, though. You need to see that it actually works for what it's actually intended. That's another thing. How are you testing this?
Right? What's the beta team doing? Okay, drop trout.
Hey, Cheryl, can you go in and take your shirt off for us? See if this is working.
That's a good question.
Yeah. Or are they just taking photos from online and just like analyzing, or videos, 3D videos at this point?
Oh, I know.
They're probably just analyzing all that.
Or maybe
stuff.
like they're putting, you know, like if you're doing FaceTime, instead of your face being there, they put like porn on TV or something.
Right. I'm sure they have a way to directly feed porn into their. They can do whatever they want.
Or it's like a husband and wife on the beta team. Like, y'all go in the little private room and test
Let
it.
us know if it works. So funny. They have their ways. I'm sure. I hope.
Or what if it's just like some little artist rendering, some really good artist just does like a quick sketch and colors it with pencils and puts that on the screen.
Man, if you can't even do that's because that's art. That's just erotic art. You can't do you can put erotic art on Instagram
that shows like titties and ass, a drawing of a penis,
as long as it's like tastefully done. Yeah, you can do that.
Are you sure?
I've seen like erotic photos, not even drawings, like photos where it's like you can see like their boobs and nipples and stuff.
Well, again, as we were talking about, more sensitive to male stuff, tits and ass can be shown all over the place, but not a penis.
Yeah, well, that's true. Yeah, that's true. I mean, as long as it doesn't have like veins in it, I feel like as long as it's small, it's not like aggressive toward other men.
Oh my god!
You know?
Okay.
As long as it's a micro penis, I think you can get away with it. You know what the title of this episode is going to be?
You can't put that as a title.
Oh.
YouTube is going to be like, nope.
It's all right. Nobody watches this anyway.
I bet you they'll watch it if you put penis in the title of it.
You're goddamn right they will. That's my point. Whatever. Oh, man. Okay. The soup du jour of this episode.
Soup? All right.
Is that not appropriate?
I mean, sure. So we got an email From a listener that reads, "Good morning, Ebon and William.
Good morning.
Good morning. I love the podcast. Keep
Thank
it going.
you.
Thank you. I was wondering if you guys have seen the movie 500 Days of Summer.
Not before this email.
This movie is a huge source of controversy in my household where I, female, have one opinion and all the males in my home have another opinion about the breakup in this movie. I'd love for you guys to watch the movie and share your thoughts." And we did watch the movie
We watched it last night. I really want to know what's going on in this household because I don't know how many different opinions can be formed about this movie.
Uh-oh, okay. I'm going to let you go first. What is your opinion?
Well, first of all, let's start with the movie itself.
We should probably, well, I mean, it's a 16-year-old movie, but I guess spoiler alert, spoiler alert. I don't know.
Sure.
Okay.
I'm not worried about it. If you haven't seen it, it's whatever.
Okay.
Stylistically, I disliked this movie.
And I loved it. Okay.
I didn't really like, especially for like the first 45 minutes of it, like the bouncing back and forth in time. I was just like, I don't really like that. I don't need this. I'd rather, I don't know. It was just like, I don't know. I didn't like it. I didn't like it. I didn't want to be bouncing around. Like by the end, they did bring it together like nicely, but it was just like, I don't know. And then it was just, I said to you last night, I said, this is a movie for hopeless romantics. Like that is that guy's character through and through.
Okay.
And it's just like the amount of times that I like eye rolled and just like was like this fucking guy, like it was just like, oh my God.
I'm not being rude. I'm just jotting down some notes so I can remember what to respond to.
Okay. The like there are instances where it took you out of reality with him, and it was just like and then like the dance scene, and then there was like the cartoon bird, and it was just like, this is over the top, and marching band, and it's like choreography. It's like, this is like, I get it, I get what they were trying to do, but it was like, this is kind of dumb.
Okay.
And then there was like the instances where it'd be like the split screen thing, and it would be like, or they would like take him into like a black and white thing, and it'd be like a little like short film, and it was just like, I just it made me laugh. The movie made me laugh a lot, and it was very funny, but it was like stylistically, I was just like, I don't need all this.
Okay.
That's how I felt about that aspect of it.
So I loved the style of it simply because by them doing something different like that, it made it not your typical eye roll anti-rom comedy. I liked that choice because it was different. It almost was like not taking itself too seriously.
But you could do that with dialogue alone.
I mean, you could, and they did.
Yeah.
And it's specific that time where that scene you're talking about with the cartoon bird. I kind of love that because again, it was like the schmaltz. They were leaning in on the cheesy. I liked that. If they had done that a lot in the movie, I probably would have been like, okay, you're doing too much. But that one scene, I like that.
It was over the top.
I think it was. I mean, it was meant to be.
But it didn't need to be. That's the thing.
It didn't need to be, but it was like, it was just like a cherry on top of something funny to me. I interpreted it that way.
It was too much.
The bouncing around.
I thought it was funny when he was like walking through, like shaking everybody's hand.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
like, hey, good job
And it
fucking
just kept
that girl.
amping.
And it was like, that made sense to me because that's how you feel.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
You're like, yeah, dude. And everybody's like, hey, what's up? And you're like, thank you. Even though they don't know what happened. That's
True.
your perception.
But then it I don't know. I like how it escalated, and I don't know. I love that scene.
Oh, also the actors. I mean, Zooey Deschanel and Joseph Gordon-Levitt. I mean, they're awesome.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
They were perfect in those roles.
They're great. They're in everything I've seen them. I've never disliked either of them in anything.
I honestly don't think I've seen her in anything before. I've seen him in stuff.
She's in New Girl, that TV show.
I mean, I knew that, but
Yeah.
I never watched it.
I'm trying to think of. It doesn't matter, but yeah, I've never disliked them.
The bouncing around, the timeline thing, I thought that was clever simply because when you think about other narratives where they're using a flashback, you know, there's always a typical like present day, 3 months ago. No. Like I liked
The
the device. Yeah, the numbers, the imagery, like when it was going back in time when they were happy, it was all the cart.
That was,
and it was all
well
gray. Yeah, so it was creative. It was a creative way to do something that's been done.
There were
already.
Times when it was like, wait, what day was the one thing? And then they went back, and then they went like to before this, and then they go back, and then they go ahead of here. And I'm like, wait, where happened? When was this one in comparison to that? So
well, I think for me, I just took
that was probably part of it. I guess is like
I just took a mental note of when the breakup happened, which is like 260, 280 something when the breakup happened. So I just kept that number in mind. So before that, they're happy. After that is.
And to be like, what's your opinion on the breakup? I'm like, I don't remember a breakup happening.
It was in the beginning.
Like at the diner?
Yeah, when she was like,
they have pancakes, she's like, I think we should see other people.
Yes, that was the breakup.
Okay, I mean, but it's just like, they don't provide you with enough, even at the end of the movie, I was like, I don't think I have enough information to have an opinion on this. Like, there was a lot of stuff that was kind of withheld. Like, when did she meet this other guy, really? Like, what happened? Who is he? It was just fucking weird.
It was after their breakup, but...
But what soured her? Because they never really talked about like what made her like start to get kind of like pull away. Is it just him being overly?
I think that's what it was.
That's fair. Okay.
So,
but they didn't like show that. They didn't like explicitly.
I don't think
like,
they needed to though.
But they did because it's like. I don't know. She just kind of came off like a bitch. Like it was just like I understand. I think that if that's the case, that he's like too clingy or what? Like, but she was too. Like,
well, see, here's what I read into it. So again, we saw the breakup early with no context as to why, and then it kind of went back to like day 1 or 2 or whatever.
Felt like paradise all over again. Just not enough information to like come to a conclusion.
There was enough information. So we immediately saw. Well, I mean, most of us from his perspective, but he was like almost in love from day 1. Like he's right
hopeless romantic.
Yeah, he was far more invested than she was, and then they kind of.
Well, she straight up was like, I don't want a boyfriend.
Exactly, and to me, I feel like for him, given how emotionally invested he was, even at that point when she declared that, I feel like he should have been like, ooh, I need to pull back, or maybe 100%. Maybe I shouldn't engage in this.
Absolutely.
But he was hopeful that maybe she would come around, is how I read it anyway. And
because that's dudes.
And he unfortunately got his heart broken, but at
the same time, she
was just like, let's just be cool. We're being friends, having fun, having a good time. I feel like, yes, it was obviously painful for the dude, but I'm like, she was not deceptive. Remember when he went out on that blind date and he was vomiting, basic emotional vomiting on that date? Yeah. And she was kind of like, so let me get this straight. She didn't cheat on you. She didn't deceive you. She didn't lie to you. And she told you right out the gate that she wasn't ready for all that. And it's like, in a nutshell, I feel like that summed up the whole disconnect from them. It's like she laid out what her expectations were. He heard them and acknowledged them because he saw him stewing about it with his friends. Like, oh, she only wants to be friends. What is it? Mm-hmm. So it's like he heard it. He received it, but he was still holding out hope and had what we see is now unrealistic expectations, and now got his heart snatched in the process.
Yeah.
So I can't really blame her.
I suppose like the typical male perspective is that like she led him on.
But she didn't.
No, I agree. I agree. But I think that's probably the perspective because of like what he said. You held my hand in IKEA. Mm-hmm. Like we or whatever it is. Like we go out to dinner. Like
they did datey stuff.
Yeah, they're dating.
They're
they
friends
are
with benefits, I guess, technically.
Yeah. But yeah, at the end of the day, like that's on him. Yeah, for sure.
For sure. It's like I can't be mad at her. She was like, oh, and led him on, and like maybe we could be blah blah blah. If she was ambiguous with her feeling declarations or lack thereof, I could give him a leg to stand on.
The only part that I think she was not right in is not telling him about her other relationship.
100%.
Like when they were going to that wedding or whatever.
Yes.
That you have to bring that up.
For sure.
Like, and also let's talk about the amount of time between their breakup and her getting married. like less than a year.
Yeah, that was super quick.
So in his defense, for her to go from I don't want a boyfriend to getting married within a year is like, that's weird.
That is weird. Yeah.
So I get that part for sure. I would feel like that would like make you feel like I wasn't good or I wasn't enough for you or like I didn't scratch the, which like is the case.
Yeah.
But it's like that's pretty tough.
Also a part where I thought he was super dumb. Well, dumb again, I should say. After they broke up, you know, he went through his mourning period and you know, he imploded his job at the greeting card place, which I love that scene.
That was great. Yeah.
And he started like sketching again. Like he seemed like he was kind of making an emotional comeback and trying to get his life together. And then he saw her on that bus when they were going to a wedding or train. It wasn't a bus, it was a train. And he let her emotionally in again. I was like, dude, you were almost over her. And then you reset the thing and did too much.
But if she would have been like, I'm seeing someone. He could have easily been okay.
That's true.
Like I can pull back. Like I don't have to have that hope because it can't be there.
100%. So. Also, I really love the scene. So after the wedding, and then she was like, "Oh, I'm having a party in the rooftop. Blah blah blah. You should come." I love the side by side
versus reality.
Because I feel like I feel like we've all been in that situation at some point in life. It's like you're hopeful of this, and then it's actually this. And I really love that scene. That was so well done.
That was well done. I when it first started, I was like, again, it's like some stylistic things in that movie. I was like, not like when he was in the black and white thing, and there was the mime that slapped him. I was like, that was it was funny, but I was like, that was dumb, and it was just like this just not necessary.
I don't know. I liked that they flipped on its head the cliche tenets of a rom-com.
Yeah, but still very much leaned in. It was very like,
I mean, it was,
and,
but I don't know. It was original.
Made me feel gross sometimes. Like you're fucking disgusting.
I like the originality of it.
It's definitely original. I think like the big takeaway is like. What's the best way to say this? Because they both went into their relationship with like their opinions on love and whatever, and then they basically like flip-flopped by the end of the movie. Like he made her realize that like love is a thing, you don't know when it's gonna happen. Like it's just it just happens. And he kind of, well, I guess they kind of, because he was like, there's like the one, and in reality, that's probably not the case, right? But that's his opinion. So he kind of came back more to reality, where she kind of went back into more of like, being open to the concept of love, and so like they kind of like, I feel like everybody's had a relationship where they make you realize like the fault of your in your line of thinking as far as like relationships go. And I think they captured that really well. Like if you've never had someone where you're like, oh, like I thought this was it, but that's not what I wanted. Like that's not what was going to make me happy.
Right.
So, and then later on, also the ending scene, like with him like getting the architect interview and then meeting the girl would have been great if her name wasn't fucking Autumn.
I know, I hated that.
I hated that so much.
Because to me, that made it feel like, I was like, oh, you're just going to repeat the cycle again.
It's just so stupid.
Which didn't have to be the case, but the fact that they gave her a name that was another season, I was like...
Yeah, it was just like, dog...
Yeah, that part, I didn't like that her name was Autumn.
That was so stupid. You know, in the writer's room, they were just like, "This fucking great idea!" They're high fiving each other and shit. So dumb.
Yeah.
God.
But I liked that he. I mean, you could see that he kind of doubted himself, and he kind of went back, and he was just like, "Let's just go with it and see what happens."
Never would have asked that person out in a million years in that situation.
You wouldn't have?
No way.
Why not?
Because we're both interviewing for the same job, and I don't know. That's just weird. Like, what if we both get the job now? Now you're in the same position you were in.
But you're not both going to get the job.
You don't know. Well, yeah. Then one is going to have animosity toward the other.
True, but I think that was kind of diffused when he was like, "Well, I hope you don't get the job." Like they could kind of laugh about it.
Yeah, that charming piece of shit. Fuck you, Joseph Gordon-Levitt.
Oh my gosh.
Just making unrealistic expectations for women. That's what it is. That's what rom-coms all are. Just unrealistic expectations for the male side. That's really what it is.
I guess.
Yeah.
So do you, I guess, essentially, do you feel like, as far as the breakup is concerned, do you feel like one or both sides were at fault? Are you team one or the other? Like,
no, this is just how relationships go.
Yeah.
I mean, these things happen. It's like one person realizes that they don't necessarily want to be with that person, and it takes them a while to like be able to say it, and like, because they know it's gonna suck. Like, it's gonna suck on both ends. So
yeah. Well, and I kind of had a somewhat personal revelation while watching that. A former relationship I was in hindsight, I can see this now. I think they were more emotionally invested than I was. And when I arrived at the conclusion that we should not anymore, I kind of was like, but we can still be friends. Like, and, we had, I realized the fault in my thinking now. And, we had mutual friends and stuff like that. So I was like, oh, for the sake of, the friend group, like, we can still be friends and cool. And I realized that, but in my saying that, he was holding out hope for a reconciliation. And at some point post breakup, like, he'd kind of put himself out there and started dating, and he found a girl, and he mentioned it to me, and I was like, cool, happy for him. And again, looking back, I wonder, was he telling me that in essence to make me jealous and make me realize, oh, I want you back? And when I didn't, that ability to be friends quickly disintegrated. Yeah. So while watching that movie, I was like, ooh, that's, I see things differently now.
I have never been friends with someone that I dated afterwards.
Well, and I'm, after that instance, I realized, and many people have told me that, like, you can't be friends with an ex or whatever, and I'm starting to realize the wisdom in that. But yeah,
and not because you're like not compatible as friends. It's just like it's
somebody more than likely is going to be holding out
that
hope.
ship has sailed, man. Like, yeah, or it's just going to be awkward when they bring someone around.
Exactly,
it's just weird no matter what. It's like, I've seen you naked.
Exactly, like, one of you ultimately is going to move on with your life at some point, and So
yeah, it's weird.
For sure.
So yeah, I mean, I guess at the end of the day, the thing is, like, he should have realized that this was the case, but that's his personality, is to just like dive in, or like, I mean, to be like, this is the one person for me. And
he couldn't conceive of someone else being perfect for him other than this one person.
And at the same time, so like, he should have taken a step back and realized that, and at the same time, she should have been more forceful about that aspect, I think, of like, like when because he was like there was a scene where like they were at the bar, and then the guy was like hitting on her, and then he punched him.
Oh yeah, he did too much in that scene.
Yeah, and then like, she was mad at him, but then she like went to his apartment and was like, apologized, and it's like, well, that's the time to be like, you're not my boyfriend. You don't need to stand up for me like that. Like, that's a time where you can put your foot down. And
but also,
like,
he should have been a little bit self-aware, like, based on her reaction after he punched the dude.
Yeah.
Like,
But she was also the same before. She was cold still before that. She was like not really interacting. So he was like, well, this has just been normal for the last couple months.
But they argued immediately after that, and I feel like that should have.
Home.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So I feel like in that moment, he should have been like, oh, like, I'm viewing this differently than clearly she is. And I mean, there were so many points in that movie where he should have, the light bulb should have clicked on it. He should have pulled back, something. Yeah.
And also, she should have told him about the relationship. That's a big one. That's really big.
That's one aspect where she truly messed up.
Let's not overlook that. Yeah. Like, that's huge.
And and to your point, she should have mentioned that she was dating. And two, I feel like at that point she knew, Tom Hansen, that was his name. She had to have known at that point and read his body language cues, she had to have realized that he was still carrying a flame.
Yeah.
And so it's like...
Also, why aren't you bringing that dude to that wedding? You know?
Good point.
It's like, that almost seems like intentional.
Yeah.
No, I don't know about intentional, but I don't know. It's just weird.
Yeah.
And like, again, like the fact they never show, didn't even show the guy's face. Like, we don't know who
we saw
it
just
was.
like the back of his head and like the wedding montage or whatever.
No idea.
Yeah.
I
think his identity is inconsequential to the narrative, but
yes. I don't know. But it's like, again, like, more information.
Yeah. Also, sidebar, his little sister character, I loved her character.
Oh, yeah, she was awesome.
Loved her character.
So funny. Yeah, she was awesome.
I was like, how is your minor sibling way more emotionally mature than you and emotionally wise?
I also found it interesting there was no, like, parents.
Yeah, we never saw parents.
Not an iota
Nope.
of didn't even talk about them.
Nope. I mean, we can assume they exist.
Oh,
but
but they weren't like, my parent did this. Or like, there's no like discussion of like, they didn't introduce each other to a parent or anything. Like, so I thought that was interesting. Granted, like she was from a different state and everything. And I assume that his parents are still, because like the sister was at like soccer stuff, so
I
don't know.
Nearby,
it was interesting that
his village was the one friend that's a coworker and another friend with like long hair, and then the sister essentially.
Right It's funny, both of his friends, I told you, the one guy I've only seen in Super Troopers before,
the dark hair one.
Yep. The other one I'm pretty sure was the guy that was in the Dumb and Dumber prequel.
Oh, I didn't watch it.
As the Harry character. I'm pretty sure that was him.
Oh, okay.
But I think those are the only things I've seen him in. Like, it was just an interesting, like, this is a weird role for these guys to be in, as playing like doofuses. Like, they were still kind of doofuses, but actually the long-haired one, like when they were doing like the "What is love to you," that was like a really good like monologue. Like, it was like the girl of my dreams. He's like probably has a bigger rack and all this stuff, but he's like, the girl I have is probably better than the girl of my dreams. And it was like, whoa, dude, that was pretty good. That was fucking deep, bro.
I liked
somebody's getting laid tonight.
I liked the simultaneous, like as far as the video footage, they used the same montage. You know, he's like, I like the way she smiles. I like her eyes. I like the little heart.
That almost made me throw up too.
Well, in the beginning it was funny, and then when he like got his heart broken, they used that same visual. I hate their crooked teeth and that little.
That was funny.
Yeah, I was like,
cockroach shaped
I was like, that's so true. Like how when you're in the throes of a breakup, the things that you love suddenly become the things you hate.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. That's funny. Yeah, a good way to like visualize that.
Yeah.
I feel like there was another thing like visually that they did like early and then brought it back right at the end too, but I can't think of what it was. Yeah. Good movie.
Yeah.
Well made.
Good movie. Thank you for the suggestion.
Yeah. I'm not sure. I wonder what. Now we should email them back and be like, what are the opinions in your house? Because like we seem to be pretty much on the same page for the most part. But I imagine it's like the dudes are like, she let him on, and then the women are like, no, she told him. And I imagine that's the divide.
Briefly,
hey, both can be true though.
True. Briefly, when this person sent it to me, she did say, you know, without her spoiling the movie, she was like, it sounded like she thought that the guys thought that, like, kind of what you just said, that she was wrong, and
I think they were both wrong.
And then she was pretty much of the opinion, like, no, she was up front and she said it out the gate, and he held out hope and unfortunately suffered consequences for it.
Yeah. I don't know. It is interesting because, like, to be like, I don't want a boyfriend, but I like you, is very, like, I don't know, like, that's very confusing to someone that likes you back. Because I think to a lot of people, that's just like, I just need to prove that, like, I'm boyfriend material.
You mean from the guy's perspective?
Yeah. even from a girl's perspective, if you like a guy and the guy's like, hey, like I like you, but like I'm just not looking for a thing, is that gonna, like, are you just gonna not pursue him at all? Or are you gonna be like, well, maybe if he just like gets to know me and like, you know,
I mean,
right?
I get how that would be hard to navigate, but I feel like
You have to take what they say at face value.
yeah, if a person is declaring that at whatever point when you feel yourself fall in too deep, it's either on you to separate yourself, say I can't because I feel myself getting emotionally invested, and you've declared that you are not there, or if you know it's been a little time, and again at the point you're feeling emotionally invested, maybe check in with her like, hey, I know you said this in the beginning. I'm kind of catching feelings. Is anything different with you? Because if not, I think I need to, for own self-preservation, dip out.
Yeah, but that takes a lot of self-awareness that almost nobody has.
I mean,
that's
people should, because what is the result? Getting your heart broken like that.
To fight the emotion of like love or like that is, I mean, that trumps everything.
A piece of lint or something on your mustache. It fell off. Okay, sorry.
Thanks.
I just saw it and I was gonna go, and then it went bloop.
What did I say?
You said it required a lot of self-awareness.
That like, because that feeling is like again, it just trumps everything else. It's hard to look past.
For sure. I know it is, but it's like at some point, and it's not even like he wasn't aware of what she said, because he hemmed and hawed on it and like talked to his friends. So he clearly was aware of the risk. Like, oh, she only and I'm here.
And like,
so it's like he showed that he was self-aware.
Yeah, and he took things that weren't like explicitly, you're my boyfriend, as her. Like when he went back to her apartment the first time, there was like the narrator literally was like talking like, it occurred to him that nobody had ever had this. He was the first person she shared a story that she had, and the next 6 words changed everything.
I've never shared this with anyone before.
And so he's taking that as, well, we're beyond friendship. But she's just like, no, we're just really good friends that have sex with each other, apparently. I mean,
and him jumping to that conclusion is not illogical. I get it. But, you know, I'm assuming the fight in the bar happened after that, if memory serves. So, again, if you were like, oh, well, maybe there's hope. Okay, but then this happened, so that should make you reevaluate. Like, maybe I had it wrong. Like, she clearly is not acting like I'm her boyfriend. Right. So let me... I don't know. That was... I feel like he had there were so many flags, yellow and red flags along the way should have, in her actions, not just her words, but in her actions, that should have caused him to pause.
Yeah. Yep. Don't fuck your friends.
Or don't fall hard for someone who's declared they only want to be friends. And if you do, end it.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad we're on the same page.
I know.
I thought we were going to be fighting for a week.
I was actually afraid that you were going to be like, I thought you were going to be hard.
Was there words in that?
Yeah, you understood him. I was afraid you were going to be hardcore on the dude side, and I was going to be like, oh, no.
Nah, dudes are stupid. We're fucking dumb. We don't know what we're talking about when it comes to love. We just want to get our dicks wet, mostly. That's basically it. I don't feel bad for anybody that doesn't listen. It's like, you didn't listen, man. Like 100%. I don't know what to tell you. Like, they should have told you.
Yep.
So,
and she was not deceptive at all, except for at the end where she didn't tell that she was involved with another dude.
But also in her defense, it's like, well, they're broken up. Like, she doesn't necessarily. It would have been the nice thing to tell him. But that's an awkward conversation too. Of like, I was dating this person, but now I'm with this person. Like, how do I break it to them? And it just probably like never came up.
Also, to her point though, in that side by side, what would they label it? Reality, and what was the other side? Expectations. Again, if he was perceptive enough with body language, the fact that nothing was playing out in reality, like his expectation should have clued him in that she's not in that frame of mind. She's, you know what I mean? You
At
know
the
that
party?
Yeah.
Well, that's when he realized that she was engaged.
No, it was after that. It was it was at the end of that.
At the end of the party.
The side by side scene. Yeah. Then he saw the ring.
Right.
But it was like she wasn't like talking to him one on one a lot. She wasn't standing at the balcony and she didn't hug him. And there were, even though yes, it would have been nice had she said, "Oh, I'm dating again," or "I'm with this guy," or whatever. There still were very clear clues that she was not hoping for a get back together.
Then it's crazy. Okay, it's crazy to invite him to that party and not tell him what it's for.
That's fair.
That's crazy.
That's okay.
That's crazy
That's
bitch
true.
shit.
That's
like, like for real. To be like, hey, I'm having a party. Like it's an engagement party. Like,
but the thing is, because I was looking, at the beginning of the party, she did not have on a ring.
oh.
So to me, I read that as he proposed at that party.
Well, how do you miss that then? Was he in the pisser?
I don't know. I honestly want to rewind that scene and watch it again because
that's interesting.
that
might just be a continuity error thing.
Maybe because I mean, in the very first scene of the movie, we see her hand putting on his,
Right.
and we see that ring.
Right.
So I was like, okay, at some point there's gonna be a ring.
Mm-hmm.
And so almost in every scene, I kept looking for it. Like, at what point does it show up? And at the beginning of that party, it wasn't there. So I'm assuming maybe the dude it was like, oh, this is a summer party get together, and then he maybe whisked her away into another room and popped the question, and then she came out. I don't know.
Who would do that?
I don't know. But
if you have a party and do you do it in front of everybody?
My point is that ring was not there at the beginning of that party.
That's interesting. That is very interesting because he was there the whole time. I mean, it's not like he was on that rooftop the whole time.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's weird. That's not the vibe that I got. But I don't know. I think that might be an
editing error.
Yeah.
But then, like you said, that scene where he turned and looked and then saw her showing her friend her ring. Why was that such a shock if he was there for the?
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
So like it must have happened beforehand. Because he was there the whole time. So if the proposal happened, he would have been out at that time. They would have showed that, and he would have left. Also, where was the guy in that?
I'm sure he was at the table, but we just weren't because we didn't see it coming.
Right.
We didn't know which of those guys at the table was him. I'm sure he was there.
But it's like I don't know. Like if I propose to a girl and we're at a party, I'm probably not leaving her side because it's like, look at this fucking ring I spent all this goddamn money on. Look.
I mean, it was a small gathering.
I'm taking you around. I'm holding your wrist. I'm like, look at this fucking thing, you know?
So I don't know. I think it probably occurred at the party, but privately.
That's a crazy thing.
I think the ruse of the party was just like a friend get together, and she didn't know she was about to get proposed to.
I wish I could agree with you, but I don't on that. I don't think that was the case.
Well, but if it was an engagement party,
there's no way. Nobody has a party and then does the proposal in private.
But again, if it was an engagement party, then his being surprised at seeing her show the ring to somebody else wouldn't make sense.
But she didn't tell him it was an engagement party.
Does an engagement party assume that the engagement has already happened?
Yes.
So why didn't she have the ring on in the beginning?
There's no way.
And why would he be shocked?
Because he didn't get enough information, just like we didn't for the movie, apparently. I just, there's no way that a proposal happened and there wasn't like an announcement of like, hey, even if they did it in private, you come out and you go, everybody, I just asked her to marry me and she said yes. Yeah, ding, 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 ding.
So what do you think in reality happened?
I think that they had already become engaged and she just left that part out. I genuinely think that.
And she just didn't have a ring on?
Or I don't know. I don't know. I don't know about that. I'll chalk that up to a continuity error.
But assuming it is a continuity error and she had it on, you don't think he would have noticed it right out the gate? The whole time in their while they were sitting at the table, again, that side-by-side scene.
But they weren't sitting at a table. They were far from each other. The expectation they were sitting right next to each other.
No,
but in reality, they were not close.
What? But I thought in the expectation side, they were all sitting at a table and the two of them were close to each other and kind of in their own side conversation. In the reality, they were still at a table, but he was sitting farther from her.
So like the chances you see a ring on someone's finger is pretty small. I don't know, man.
Did she open the door to let him in? That's what I'm saying.
She opened the present.
As much as she, exactly, there you go. I was like, that was a book, right? There was as much as he is so obsessed with her and everything about her, there's no way you can convince me that he wouldn't have seen a ring if a ring was there.
I don't believe that that someone gets engaged at a party and then another person is like, oh, let me see the ring, and that's not a no. Like, why would they know to ask for the ring? Unless they're aware that engagement happened. If it happened there, he would have found out about it because there would have been an announcement.
Like I want to watch that scene again, actually.
Something doesn't add up there. Mm-hmm. There's something wrong there. What hand does it go on for women?
Left.
Right?
Left. Well, for dudes too, when they get married, it's the same finger.
I don't know.
Like, I don't know if they just made such a big...
I think they probably left it off on purpose because of that. Because if it was
wanted the shock value.
Yeah.
But then who do we blame for that? The
editors?
The editors or the character of being deceptive?
Probably the director for being like, just leave it off because it's going to give it away. I can almost guarantee it's like a cinematic thing for us, not for...
Yeah.
Yeah. That was my take on it.
Okay.
This is an engagement party.
Mm.
Yeah. Weird.
Yeah, very.
So if you've seen the movie, tell us your opinions.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And also, if you got a movie that you think has got a hot take, like, let us know. Like,
yeah, we'll watch it.
Yeah, we'll watch it and dish on it. So
talk shit. All right, let's get out of here.
All right.
Watch a baseball game.
Oh, gosh. It's already started for you.
2 minutes.
All right.
All right, y'all. Thanks for watching. Follow us on Instagram at Willie_D20.
And Eb_Nick.
And if you want to send us film suggestions, Thick Thin Podcast. Is that it? Thick Thin Pod
at gmail.com.
Thanks for listening. Share, subscribe, and like. I think that's it.
Like, subscribe, share. How do you say it in the wrong order? Like, you say it in the most awkward... Like, subscribe, share. Just, like, flows off the tongue.
Share, subscribe, like... subscribe, like, share.
You put into the S words in the wrong...
Anyway, do the things that's going to make us popular. Yes. All right.
See you next week. Bye.